Hey everybody, Mark Johnson here, back again with another movie review. The movie I'll be reviewing today is entitled The Shadow of Violence. Douglas Arm Armstrong has become the feared enforcer of the drug-dealing Devers family, whilst also trying to be a good father. Torn between these two families, Arm's loyalties are tested when he's asked to kill for the first time. As I did my research, I also found out that this film is also going by another name, and it's The Calm with Horses. This story is about Douglas Arm Armstrong, and he's played by Cosmo Jarvis, and he's an ex-boxer turned heavy or enforcer for the Devers family, which is a small-time, drug crime family in this part of Ireland. And Douglas kind of, he's kind of just goes with the flow. His handler is named Dampa, and he's played by Barry Colgan. I'm sure you've seen him in other films. And Dampna is part of the Devers family. As much as the Devers family kind of talks about, to be blood in it, it doesn't really make you solely a Devers family. It just kind of makes you part of the inner circle. So when we meet Douglas, he's kind of being pushed around by Dampna, and he's kind of being told what to do. But at the same time, you kind of feel that Douglas has his own sensibility about him. He might come off a little slow. He might come off like he's not necessarily all there, or doesn't care about the situation. But as the story develops, you start to see that he has a little more sensibility about him. And so he's being pushed around by Dampna. The Devers family had a celebration of sorts, celebrating the youngest daughter turning 14. Flanagan, which is one of the people in the neighborhood, he ends up after a crazy night of drinking and drug use in the 14-year-old's daughter's bedroom. He claims he's done nothing, but the daughter's shooken up, and the head of the Dampers family feels that something needs to be done. And they get to Dampna and tell him that they need Douglas to do a little enforcing and show Flanagan that he was in the wrong and, in a sense, beat him up. So Douglas abides by the ruling, and he goes and gives Flanagan a once-over. Flanagan's, still pleading that he didn't do anything, but Douglas takes care of him. And en route, or after leaving Flanagan's house, he kind of takes some contraband, Douglas himself, and ends up at his other family's house, which is Ursula, and his young son Jack, which is a special need. He brings a TV, but then although we come to find out Jack doesn't watch TV, he kind of nonverbal, kind of doesn't really, act like a child his age, but they're trying to do something. At least Ursula is trying to do something, and she's trying to get him into a special needs school where he can be treated. What comes of this is the fact that it's in another town and it costs money, and so she kind of starts to discuss this with Douglas, and he doesn't want to hear it. Obviously, he doesn't want his family to be split apart, even though they are not together as the film shows. But they kind of are trying to co-parent in a way for the best or the betterment of Jack. And so in this discussion, she lets Douglas know that, they're going to be moving if they can get the money, and if Douglas can help in any way, it would be a plus. And so Douglas leaves there, kind of a little distraught. He doesn't, like I said, he doesn't want to break up his family. And so he kind of goes to Dampna to kind of, request some of this money that they're making, that maybe he can get paid for some of the jobs that he's done. And Dampna kind of tells him, like he's always told him, it seems, that Ursula is just trying to take money from him. She doesn't really care about him, and she doesn't really care about the son, because if she would have, she would never use drugs when she was carrying him, which is kind of a rumor, because from Ursula's standpoint and Douglas's standpoint, they both know that wasn't true. So the story develops from there, and we come to find out that the very tippity top head of the Devers family wants more of a retribution for what Flanagan did. And whether it's for appearances or whether it's just to really show their viciousness, Dampna is informed that he needs to get Douglas to kill Flanagan. And so in a roundabout way, they kind of, try to use drugs to influence Douglas. But Douglas at this point, he's really in his head about what's going to happen to his family, Jack and Ursula, if they move, or what's going to be the best thing for him, and all these kind of things. They don't really, Jack and Douglas and the father don't really spend a whole lot of time together, but throughout the film there's moments where they have some touchy moments. You kind of feel like Douglas looks at Jack as if it was himself, and that he would hope that someone, his father or whoever would give him the opportunity to better himself, through going to school or taking special courses. And so Douglas is kind of pinned in. The head of the Devers family, Potty, which is a very unstable person, everyone is definitely on edge when they're around him, tells Dampna that he needs to use drugs or whatever it needs to be to get Douglas to kill Flanagan. And so he uses drugs. They go out one night drinking, and then the drinking gets more, and then it leads to hiding away, doing some drugs before he is let loose on Flanagan and to kill him. The film kind of, at that point starts to spiral out of control, and we see how things end up. And so that is a brief story of Shadow of Violence, or also called The Horses. And I feel that this film, for me, has a lot of elements that make it a very interesting film. I'll start with number one, the way the stories develop. A lot of times we watch movies like this, and the person playing the heavy has already been doing it for many, many years. It's not. I don't recall the one movie where it's going to be the first time that they're going to step over that line and kill somebody. And so in this film, we're seeing the opportunity where the Douglas, the heavy, is at that point, and will he do it or will he not do it? I think another interesting part about this film is the cinematography, the location. It's in Ireland, United Kingdom, and some of these shots that they have in this film, kind of really add to the tenseness and the thriller ability of this film. And I think from there we had to talk about the acting performances. Me, I'm going to give this film a 4 to 5 stars. I felt that after watching it the very first time, I was definitely expecting to watch it again. It just kind of stuck with me. I think it was the performance of Douglas and just kind of some of the choices that he was faced with within the film. I think just kind of the atmosphere as well. Like I said, the cinematography really added to it and was kind of lingering with me, and so I had to watch it a second time. So that has been my review for Shadow of Violence, or also known as Calm with Horses, directed by Nick Rowland, written by Joe Murtagh, which is based on a short story by Colin Barrett. And so if you like this review, definitely give it a thumbs up. If you like what I'm doing with the channel because you've seen other reviews or you've seen other content I put out, make sure to subscribe. And if you have a comment, maybe a question about this film, or if share a comment about this film that you've seen yourself, or if you want to share a movie that you think that I should watch and review within this channel, make sure to leave all of that in the comment box below. And then lastly, if you don't want to miss any of my upcoming content or reviews, make sure to ring that bell so you will be notified. So again, that has been my review for Shadow of Violence, directed by Nick Rowland, a 2019 film release. And so like we always do at this time, have a blessed day. I will see you on the flip side. Let's go.